called COS. The night action alert meant an immediate response was required, at whatever time it was received. The call to his chief of staff had blessedly cut the date short, and soon he had been en route to Serbia under a Level 2 project order, authorizing him to identify the Irishman, plant trackers and other surveillance devices, and follow them. If that proved impossible, the order authorized Bond to conduct an extraordinary rendition of the Irishman and spurred him back to England or to a black site on the continent for interrogation. So now Bond lay among white narcissi, taking care to avoid the leaves of that beautiful poisonous spring. He concentrated on peering through the restaurant Bostosi's front window, on the other side of which the Irishman was sitting over an almost untouched plate and talking to his partner, as yet unidentified but Slavic in appearance. Perhaps because he was nervous, the local contact had parked elsewhere and walked here, providing no number plate to scan. The Irishman had not been so timid. His low-end Mercedes had arrived 40 minutes ago. Its plate had revealed that the vehicle had been hired today for cash under a false name, with a fake British driving license and passport. The man was about Bond's age, perhaps a bit older, 6'2" and lean. He'd walked into the restaurant in an ungainly way, his feet turned out. An odd line of blonde fringe dipped over a high forehead, and his cheekbones angled down to a square-cut chin. Bond was satisfied that this man was the target. 2 hours ago, he had gone into the restaurant for a cup of coffee and stuck a listening device inside the front door. A man had arrived at the appointed time and spoken to the head waiter in English, slowly and loudly, as foreigners often do when talking to locals. To Bond, listening through an app on his phone from 30 yards away, the accent was clearly mid-Ulster, most likely Belfast or the surrounding area. Unfortunately, the meeting between the Irishman and his local contact was taking place out of the bug's range. Through the tunnel of his monocular, Bond now studied his adversary, taking note of every detail. Small clues saved, small errors cured, as the instructors at Fort Mountain were wont to remark. He noted that the Irishman's manner was precise, and that he made no unnecessary gestures. When the partner drew a diagram, the Irishman moved it closer with the rubber of a propelling pencil, so that he left no fingerprints. He sat with his back to the window and in front of his partner. The surveillance apps on Bond's mobile could not read either set of lips. Once the Irishman turned quickly looking outside, as if triggered by a sixth sense. The pale eyes were devoid of expression. After some time he turned back to the food that apparently didn't interest him. The meal now seemed to be winding down. Bond eased off the hillock and made his way through widely spaced spruce and pine trees and anemic undergrowth, with clusters of the ubiquitous white flowers. He passed a faded sign in Serbian, French and English that had amused him when he'd arrived. Spa and Restaurant Rostilge, located in a declared therapeutic region, and is recommended by all for convalescences after surgeries, especially helping for acute